So look what finally decides to show up. The air intake. Now we'll just hope. Now let's just hope it's the right one. Because you never know with these companies. Okay. So far this looks right. No kidding. What the hell? Oops. Okay, so today we're doing the air intake, which is right there. Nah, right. Let's get to it. So once you get the ducts off, well, once you get the engine cover off, the ducts off, the center's out, you gotta take this bolt right here. It's holding the factory air intake to the turbo. And I think the box should just pull right off, so let me go ahead and do that. Also, another tip, if anyone's doing this intake, the bolt on the turbo and the bolt for the firewall is 8mm. So you don't have to search for a socket. So if anyone else is doing this on the stock intake, that's the bolt. I just pulled this whole thing out. It's like this. Put it to the side. Okay. So I just used a flathead, put it in between the intake and the turbo housing. And just gently give it a little lift so you pop it off. And then I'm pretty sure this is, yep, it's held in by rubber grommets. So it should just pull right out. Does this pull out? Just like that. That's it, just pulls out like this. Alright. it looks like the stock intake out. That's where the nut was, right there. And then we gotta loosen one of the bolts on the firewall. In instructions it says to put the heat shield in, which I'm not too sure what that is yet. So let me get the other side out, and then I'll find that bolt. Be back. So one other thing, in the instructions it says to pull the sensors right out, twist them and pull them, but I don't like the way it feels when I pull them, so I'm going to open the boxes up and make sure I'm pulling them out exactly the way they guide out of the hole, because I don't want to fuck up an air sensor and have to buy a new one of them. So I'm going to crack open the air box and just pull it out. This is what the sensor looks like inside the air box. So what they're saying is you gotta twist it. So yeah, it's like that. So you match the way it goes out, and then you pull it out. But I wasn't taking any chances. Okay. Yeah. And it takes a muscle to pull it out, so if you think you're going too hard, you're not, because it just pops right out. Let me do the other one. Okay, so got both sides of the stock air intake out. Looks like that and that. Now we gotta find, I think it's this bolt right here. Gotta loosen that and then slide the heat shield in. So let me get to that. Be back. Okay, so yeah, it's this one we gotta remove. It's this bolt right here. Gotta take that one off on both sides. I'm gonna get that off and I'll get the heat shield. Okay, so once you have the bolt off the heat shield, you want to get a little gap between it, just like that, and we'll get the heat shield in between it. So I'm going to grab the heat shield, see which side's which. Just like that. Sounds like that. Obviously, when it's mounted like that. Okay, so the heat shield's in. It was a bit of a bitch. And if you guys are doing it, just a little tip again. Use a 8mm shallow socket on a 1/4" drive. It fits right in perfectly. Either 8mm or 5/16, either one. You could get it in there and you could get a good bite on it and actually able to rotate it. Okay, so next step is to put the BMS intake tube onto the turbo. Right here. And use the provided bolt in the bag here. So let me get to that now.
Able to read that fluently as you always do. This guy, fucking sarcastic. Yeah.
Okay, so got the intake tubes on, and what I just learned is they give you some play in the mounting holes, so you can actually line up the tubes the way you need to for the filter to fit nice and straight and snug. So what you want to do is put the bolts in, snug them up, and then maybe like 1 or 2 turns back out, and then just twist that tube a little bit. You're gonna need, put some muscle behind it because it's on there pretty good, and make sure it's nice and straight, and then fit the filter to it before you tighten anything. Make sure everything's lined up nice and good. So everything's now nice and tight and straight. I'm gonna put the filters on now. Oh, and also you got to put the sensors in to the filter. They pop right in. Okay, so now I'm just gonna tighten them up by hand, make sure they're lined up right, and then where's that back? Put the extensions on for the sensors, get that hooked up. I'll be back. Alright, so everything's hooked up, everything's installed. I'm just gonna give her a test start, make sure everything's fine. No lights, no nothing. Make sure. Okay, so start it right up. No lights. Everything seems to be working good. Seems to be running good. Now, if I wanted to, I could just leave it like this with the engine cover off, but I do not want to do that because I just don't like that sloppy look. I like nice and neat OCD shit. So, in order for my in order for my engine cover to fit back on, I have to trim these little tabs off here because it doesn't fit with the aftermarket intake anymore. So I'm going to have to just cut these tabs off and then it goes back on. So yeah, screw it, I'm going to do it because I don't want to leave it off. It looks like crap.